Big round of applause. Keep that going for me. That voice you heard in that promo is angelic. When you hear about peace as a lifestyle, that's an offshoot of Life Camp Inc. This person has been dedicated to reducing violence in our communities. Gun violence prevention. She's been finding incredible ways to reach our people and to talk about something that's really serious. Keep it going, man.
Yeah.
We lost a lot of lives to gun violence in our community. I watched it growing up in Oakland. I've seen people shot right next to me.
Right.
I've seen people die right next to me. I watched people die due to gun violence. And so when I see someone dedicate their life to eradicating gun violence, I have nothing but the utmost respect and honor to have this woman on our show today for the work that she's done. People don't do it. It's hard. It does not pay.
Yeah.
You know, you get a lot of doors slammed in your face. It does not pay. You wonder why we suffer over 650 mass shootings in 2023 when we have politicians who are supposed to protect the community, right? Talk about gun violence prevention. You wonder why we had over 18,500 deaths due to gun violence in 2023. Something ain't working. Something's not working. Where do we start? Does it start in Washington, D.C., or does it start in the household? 1,300 plus teens from the age of 12 to 17 killed due to gun violence in 2023. Something's not working. 4,000 deaths due to gun violence in 2024. 90 plus mass shootings. Something's not working.
In 2024?
2024. Gun violence deaths. Erica Ford. Give her a round of applause when I say her name. Has dedicated her life to bringing awareness to gun violence, which is hard to do because you have a political front that's advocates of keeping these guns in our neighborhoods, selling these weapons. These weapons, I call them a mass destruction when you have that many mass shootings in a country. These are weapons of mass destruction. So people are fighting to keep these guns in our hands. I'm not saying you don't have the right to protect yourself, but this isn't what we're talking about. Mass shootings on college and school campuses. This isn't what we're talking about. I want to welcome her to the show for the very first time, Erica Ford, to talk about her Gaming for Peace initiative that she does. Erica, welcome to the show, Erica.
Thank you. Thank you for
Welcome to
having
the
me.
show.
Thank you for having me.
Ooh, your aura is something different. I'm absorbing your energy right now.
you.
That's something different right there. And you brought my brother with you.
Yes.
You brought my brother with you. He my brother. He at times he don't even recognize him. Right? This man right here, I've been a fan of his.
Absolutely.
I've been a fan of his for a long time, and what made me a fan of his is his realness. When he first dropped that Truth album back in 2000, and work he's done since, and as a result of, and I think it was 10 years ago to this year that you were shot yourself. Was it 10 years ago?
Yeah.
10 years ago, he was shot and had a lot of damage done to him. It scared us. It scared me. I didn't know about what was going to become of my brother. And over a decade later, you see him being an advocate, speaking out about gun violence. He's here with Erica Ford today. Not only that, he speaks about it in his music. We learned about his life, his walk of life from all of these albums, The Becoming to The Solution, all of these different projects. He's always told his truth. To me, there's not a doper MC that ever came out of Philly, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of the greatest, too. If he ain't on your Mount Rushmore, that's because you don't have enough information. You haven't been listening to the right shit. Okay, matter of fact, it's because you've been listening to the wrong shit. All right, I want to welcome him back to the show. This is my brother for life. Give it up for the one and only Beanie Sigel.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Beanie Sigel, give him a standing ovation.
Why not?
Beanie Sigel.
Why not, yo?
Come on, man.
Absolutely.
Nah, Beans, I'm giving this to you, brother. Come on, man. You here. And just celebrated his 50th birthday.
Beautiful.
You here.
Happy born day.
God damn it.
That part.
We here.
Yeah.
Man, I had to give you a shot on your 50. Come
That's
on,
beautiful.
man.
Yes, sir.
When you was 20, you didn't even see 50.
No, I ain't see 25.
You didn't see, why not, though? 'Cause you was 20. You didn't see 50. No, I ain't see 25. You didn't see 50.
No, I ain't see 25.
You didn't see, why not, though?
I mean, just from the environment that I grew up in and the circumstances I had to deal with.
Yeah.
We ain't look towards the future.
Mm-hmm.
Long as the night, like we made it through the night.
Right.
Damn.
That's how I grew up.
As long as you made it through the night.
Long as we made it through the night, we'll worry about tomorrow when it get there. We was worrying about right then. We couldn't worry about yesterday. That was history.
Uh-huh.
You know that saying.
Yeah.
Yesterday was history. Tomorrow's a mystery.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So we deal with the present. So just enjoy this gift from me. But yeah, that's how I grew up, man.
But you, now that you 50, like what we, with the knowledge, wisdom we obtained through being on this planet,
Yeah.
lets you understand that wasn't normal.
No.
That shouldn't have been normal for a young man in his 20s to think, I don't know what tomorrow brings due to the environment.
Yeah.
And the threat in the environment was getting killed.
Yeah, not only I don't know, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about tomorrow. I'm worried about right now and getting through tonight.
Which
That's
goes
what's
along
crazy.
with the business of incarceration,
Yep.
right? So when you talk about gun violence and you talk about death, there's a business around that, right? And the business profits off of the death and destruction of our community and of our young people. And so it makes a lot of people money
Yeah.
for young people to go to jail, you know.
It makes a lot of people money for us to go to jail.
Yeah.
Wow. But how do you can't tell. The hardest person to reach is the person headed to jail sometimes. You know, they can't see what you know, what you see. How do you communicate that effectively?
I mean, it's I believe I can communicate that with it just by sharing, you know, my situations. I've been on both sides. So, you know, at this point, like you said, 50, you know, when you're a child, you think as a child because you understand as a child. But when you're a man, you know, those childish things got to get put to the side. So I'm a person that been on, you know, both sides of the fence. You know, I done lost people from gun violence. The people almost lost me from gun violence, and I can speak their language.
You can speak. So what is it you say? Because we lost so many artists
Yeah.
in recent years. Pop Smoke never even got a chance. P&B Rock, that's Philly. You know,
Yeah.
what language? What do you say? Like, how do you tell somebody, man, you might want to find another route to solve your problem than using guns? Can you say that, Erica?
You definitely can, and it's a cultural thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us, you know, I've run into a lot of people, I can't tell them that, I can't tell them that. You could tell them when to pick up a gun. You could tell them when to sell crack. You could tell them how to get in the game. But now, to save their life, all of a sudden, I can't tell them that. And that's why, for me, you ain't really about the streets if the only thing you doing is sending people to death and incarceration. You're not about these kids. You're not about the streets, right? And so when you talk about the culture of celebrity death, right? That's another. People are profiting off of that, right? These record companies are pushing music that is building beef between people. These social media platforms are pushing beefs that are building beefs between individuals, and we've been so conditioned, as our brother said earlier, to ignorance. We don't think there's another way because we want the likes. We're so caught up in the attention of somebody else as opposed to the love for our own life that we end up dead before we even realize we was alive.
End up dead before we even realized we were alive. That voice is Erica Ford, and she has an amazing organization, and she's created incredible initiatives to deal with this, what we're talking about right now, gun violence. Can you talk about Gaming for Peace and what that's all about, and when is it?
Gaming for Peace is this Saturday. We had 512 young people from across the United States compete for a $20,000 pool prize, and the 4 finalists are coming to Queens Saturday, York College, to do the final competition.
Word.
And so it's really about, and I really wanted one of the young people, like really from the hood, to win this, because we are connected with organizations throughout the United States. But once again, people are so conditioned that I can't do that, right? And so we're entering into this gaming arena to get young people to see you can do that. Not only can you play the game and win, but you could build the game. You could be the marketing team. You could be the music producer. You could be all of the different business lines that come along with the game production. Like, we need to get in there. We need to get our kids access to other things so that they're not outside on the corner.
Yeah, they need options,
Yes.
right? It's a lot of money in the gaming industry. Beans, you know about that gaming money?
I don't know about the money part.
Yeah.
Yes.
You play? Not yet? Yo, man, they making millions in gaming, bro. It's I know a little bit about it. We'll talk.
Game costs $100, man. Games cost $100 the first time you get it.
Yeah. That's Shaheem Reid. He's with us to give it up for Shaheem. He's a member of the Sway in the Morning team. Shaheem always been here for us. He's been an ambassador. We also have the deputy director of the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. He was also the co-chair of D.C. for Obama. President Obama in 2008. Please welcome the one and only Gregory Jackson is on the line with us right now. Mr. Jackson.
What's up, Sway? What's up, everybody?
Hey, good morning.
Sir?
Good morning.
Let's talk about your involvement with this. With Gaming for Peace.
So 6 months ago, the president created the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, and we've been working on this issue every single day. And one of the major things that we focused on is investing in youth mental health. We actually made the biggest investment in youth mental health in American history as part of this office's work. But we know that we also have to think about how do we make sure that folks are thinking about untraditional ways to deal with their challenges or navigate through conflicts. And frankly, gaming is a big part of that. Exploring new places and meeting new people, but also whether it's racing or competition, so many of us can exercise and work through our feelings and emotions through gaming, on top of it being fun, on top of it making money. And so we're just excited to partner with Erica Ford on this piece of gaming, recognizing that it's hitting two goals. It's creating constructive ways for folks to navigate through their emotions, but also elevating the importance of peace, knowing that gun violence is the number one cause of death for youth in America. So we got to elevate this message as much as we can.
Well, in what ways is the administration, do you feel, has been able to approach the mass shootings? Like, we don't even hear, we had 650 plus mass shootings in 2023. We didn't see 650 headlines in the media, and it's almost like the gun conversation has dissipated, has been swept under the rug. Other things have taken priority, but I feel like we should be able to do more than one thing at once. What kind of things are the administration doing to rectify these mass shootings?
Yeah, so, it might not be in the headlines every day, but our office is working on this every single day. This president has actually moved forward 38 executive actions. That's more executive actions on gun violence than any president in history. In 2022, and Erica Ford was a big part of this, we passed the first law on gun violence in nearly 30 years that included $15 billion in resources to help address gun violence in all its forms: suicides, mass shootings, individual violence, domestic violence, community violence. And what we're working on right now is building out a FEMA-style response to help communities recover from mass shootings. And I'm actually the White House coordinator of that response. And we have over 12 government agencies that now will help communities reopen schools, resources for businesses to reopen, emergency mental health resources and grief counseling, emergency law enforcement, and also just making sure that the entire community is recovering faster. I mean, our team was in Lewiston, Maine when that shooting happened. We were deployed to Kansas City when the Super Bowl parade shooting happened. We even deployed to Philly and helped and supported the mayor when they had those two bus shootings with teens, which, again, didn't make CNN headlines, but this White House administration was working directly with the mayor on recovering and responding. And so we're at every single one of these situations, whether it's FBI, whether it's our Health and Human Services or Department of Education. We are putting more resources in helping communities than ever on top of our prevention work. And one big thing on mass shootings is we found that 76% of school shootings, the guns are coming from the home. Not necessarily some boogeyman in the alley, but they're coming out of nightstands and under pillows and out of closets. And so that's why we launched the first ever federal national safe storage campaign with the Department of Education and the Department of Justice. We've challenged every public school principal and superintendent to start educating parents and teachers about the urgency of safe storage. The Department of Justice is rolling out resources and guidance, and other agencies are actually giving away storage devices to Americans all over the country.
Yeah.
Because we know that if the guns are coming from the homes, we got to do better about securing guns, even if someone has already made that decision to have one.
Okay. Listen, man, I appreciate you calling in, Mr. Jackson. And then when you come to town, maybe you can come by and see us in person. Okay?
Yes, sir. And I don't care what anybody says, Sway. You always got the answers, bro.
I mean, you work with the president. I know you know. You in the highest office. You in the highest office. You know it.
Let's go.
Let's go, Greg. We appreciate you. You're a citizen, man.
Let's Sway in the morning.
All right, we're going to come back, man. I want to talk with Erica, too, about a little bit about her background. And we got Beanie Sigel here. We celebrating.
Yes.
We are celebrating. Play my joint. One of the best ever. The best ever. I say these things because I mean it. And my word has value, Heather B.
Absolutely.
I've been saying this for you since we've been on this show. I've been playing that one.
100%. I was
The
here.
Truth came out 2000, man. We're celebrating a couple decades of an artist that's been delivering nothing but gems. Beanie Sigel is here. Give that man a round of applause.
Wow.
When you listen, we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of The Truth.
That's crazy.
We had PMD from EPMD here recently, and he was speaking about the importance of celebrating the classic projects for the fans who came up in the game with you. What kind of ways did you celebrate this anniversary?
Well, me and Storm, we about to launch a 25-year anniversary tour. The album being released.
Wow, shit! Get that a round of applause.
We need that.
We need that.
We about to bring that.
Is that going to be a state property included thing?
Nah, it's gonna be a Beanie Sigel experience.
A Beanie Sigel experience.
Yeah.
When you reflect back in those times, what do you remember about making this album?
Being on that seesaw.
Yeah.
You know, halfway in the street, halfway trying to do this, and just giving it what I had. You know what I mean? I didn't know I was gonna be a real hip hop artist. I thought it was one and done.
You thought it would be just this album and that was it?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was gonna be this album. Just the way I even got into the game, you know. I was rapping in the hood like quietly because at that time, from where I was at, it wasn't cool to be a rapper.
What part of Philly was that? Shit. What, really?
I was in South Philly,
Yeah.
so I had to do that like outside of my neighborhood. Like, yeah, it wasn't cool to.
Was it considered corny?
Yeah. Damn, who I was, like, that was a talent that I had, but the other things that I was involved in, like, some of the people didn't even believe that, you know, that was me. They like, you doing what? Oh, man, you tripping. Like, it was, yeah, it was like that.
When did you start just feeling like you was going to take it serious? Because I remember, man, I don't know even if you remember Beans, I had to come down to Philly and like kind of find Beanie to do an interview. I forget who it was for. I don't even think it was for MTV.
It wasn't
I think
MTV
it was
News?
one of the magazines or something like that. Because this was like 99 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had to, we had to go to one of the deepest, darkest corners of Philly to find Beans
Wasn't
and,
it?
Yeah.
and do the interview. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember us walking down the street and everything.
Yeah.
So at that time, you didn't foresee a rap career.
Nah, I wasn't even looking for one.
That makes sense. Because in this truth, I always wondered why you said, I didn't even chase
That's
this.
all. I ain't even chased this dream.
Shit, yeah, I
feel
never.
sorry
I'm
for
like,
those
who
who
did? I'm like, why would he say that? Me and DJ Premier had a conversation about that line before.
Yeah,
Real
that's-
talk, and I was like, wow, like he didn't know. But thank you for clearing it up because we had a whole convo about it.
It wasn't even like when you met Roc, that wasn't even your meeting, right?
Nah, that was Philly's Most Wanted.
Wanted. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I met them probably about, I'm going to say 2 2 weeks prior to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he goes to another person's meeting and they like,
And that's how
this guy is nice.
That's how you got to the Rock.
Yeah.
Who was at the meeting?
Wanted was dope
Who
too,
was at
though,
the
I ain't
meeting
gonna lie.
from the Rock?
It was Jay, Biggs, Dane was there.
Shit, you got the big three.
Too Short. It was actually in the studio. Jay and Too Short was recording. It was all good a week ago.
Hell? Really? Too Short? The Oakland icon was there?
Yes, sir.
Y'all knew Oakland had to have something to do
I
with it.
knew you was gonna bring up Oakland Sweat.
Hold on.
Now you gotta take off your shirt.
Hold on, man.
Come on with the jacket.
That's why I fuck with Beans. I knew it was something.
Yeah.
Beans, you could have left that part out. Nah,
No, that's a part
of the story. Absolutely,
That's a part of
the
the
history.
story because I was like over there in the cut, in the wing, just sitting there, and I could tell Jay, like we came up, and Jay, I don't even think he knew we was coming, or so we was in another room, or we wasn't supposed to meet at the studio, and it was that they was recording that, and I wasn't there to meet nobody. Bubonic from Most Wanted. After we met, he was like, we exchanged numbers. He was like, yo, I got a meeting. We gonna be up there, and he didn't even come to the meeting.
What?
Wow.
Bubonic, yeah.
Wow.
He told me, he was like, yo, up New York. He was like, yo, you nice. And I was like, that was something just, a little notch on the belt, something that I do, you know what I mean? Jack of all trades, thinking I can just do anything. When I was young, went up there, and yeah, that was it. Rapped, and it was history. And I remember after it was over, Too Short leaned back in the chair. He passed me his card, and I had it, and I was cool with that.
Yeah.
I was cool with being able to take Too Short card to the hub, because now I got some physical evidence. Like, yo, I'm telling you, I just was up there with these niggas.
Yeah.
Like, look, Too Short gave me his card. Watch, I'm about to call him. I could just say that to the homies, and I was good.
Did you
But you see the mindset, right?
speak on it?
It's the science, right? He first of all, he said he never saw living to 25. Now he's celebrating the 25th anniversary of a song, an album, right?
Yeah.
Right. So come on.
Then it's like I never saw that as my reality, right? And then what he wanted to take to the hood was the flash.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Was the flash.
That's the necklace. That's the
Right.
watch, right?
Yeah, I got his card. I
yeah.
know him. Yo, I know him. That's what we like to do, right? And that's the whole cultural mindset that we got to work with folks to get out of, that they conditioned us to get in, right? Because
The homies.
Yeah, the homies. Speak on that. The
Where Erica just said, it wasn't just that mindset. It wasn't cool.
yeah.
To who?
right,
The same people that said it wasn't cool, like, yeah, they going crazy over it.
right.
Dare to dream.
Yeah.
And not only they going crazy, they wanted every dime you had.
Oh, of course.
And wanted to go to every show that you had. See, people don't have the understanding to see greatness because they never saw greatness. And so they think that the life that they live in the communities that they live in, that is conditioned for you to live like that, is how they supposed to be. And if they make it out, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad, right? If we change our conditions, it's bad, right? And so they don't do nothing. When you talk about, like you talked about electoral politics, right?
Yeah.
But people get arrested by a district attorney or a judge. They get voted into office. Just the cats in the streets could turn those elections. Just vote them out, right? But we don't see the power. And so that's why we're doing these Gaming for Peace symposiums and conversations and events, because we got to get all our people to wake up. We got to get all of our people to wake up. And we have, you asked before, how do you do it? It's incredible messengers like Beans.
Like Beans, right?
Right? It's coming on shows like this.
It's
Right.
credible messages like Erica Ford too. Let's give you a round of applause because we often, this is somebody who grew up in Queens around the era of Russell Simmons, Run DMC,
Yeah.
Salt and Pepper. I know you got a deep rooted history. One of my brothers We had Layla Steinberg here.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, Tupac and I used to go around high schools in Northern California and speak to the kids that Layla Steinberg would hook up. You brought Tupac to Queens, right?
Yes, 30 years ago. June 16th, it's going to be 30 years.
Uh-huh. And the messaging was then, what was the
Code
message?
to the streets,
Mm-hmm.
right, is around, take it back a couple of minutes. Tupac, Supreme, Stretch, Chaz from Black Hand Entertainment, they all sat in my living room and came up with this code that they were enhancing it from the jail, because it came from the jail, from Matula Shakur and Sekou Dingo and others. But they put together how they were going to implement it on the streets and how they were going to talk to young people who didn't nobody else want to listen to.
Did you say Preem?
Yes.
You got to explain that to the world. This is a national broadcast.
So Supreme is who everybody raps about. So when he talked before about the streets it wasn't cool to rap, Supreme was one of the top drug dealers in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And the rappers were under him. Like he was the guy, and they would come and hang out with him at that time, right? And so that's what Beans is talking about when he says it wasn't cool to be a rapper, because the drug dealers had all the money, right? And so Preem sat down with Tupac, Chaz, and some people could remember Stretch,
yes,
who also from Queens, who was subsequently killed. And they sat down and they came up with the code and talked about going to different places. And so after that, we had the concert at Roy Wilkins Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Preem did this whole magazine for folks in jail that they started to do. They continued on that level. And I had to do all the work, of course, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's where Preem and them was. And to this day, right, we become credible because of people like that. They give the stamp, like, y'all don't want this life, right? And so, and back in the days, that was something that a lot of the OGs did. They redirected those young people with talent, protected the neighborhood. Like, although that we were having this conversation the other day, the death numbers were higher, but innocent, and it's hard to say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the people who were killed on the majority of level were people in the gang in life.
Yeah.
Right? Now you see random people being killed. It's reckless. They're young. They're unconscious. And they're not even shooting. And I'm not justifying nobody shooting nobody, but they're not shooting over nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And so it is imperative that we wake them up by all means necessary, So
what did you see for yourself? Because we always hear our male version of what the environment was like and what we could see. Like what Bean said, I never thought about 50 either. You know what I mean? Like when I was a younger man. How did you see your future growing up in Queens? Did you grow up in Queens?
Yes.
As a black woman, how did you see? What did you see for your future?
So December 12th, 1987 was the day that I started doing this work.
Yeah.
That day I was supposed to go take the test to be a crooked cop, because my desire was to be a crooked cop. I was going to inform the drug dealers of...
This was your dream?
Yes.
You know what? I got to give
I need a round of applause right there.
When you from the hood, you think different, Sway.
Because,
told you.
And I was going to go do that. I had this whole vision of being a crooked cop, right? And instead, I went to my friend's house after the party and I saw a flyer for the Tawana Brawley rally and a rally around folks up in Goshen jail. They were spraying water on them and dressed in KKK. And so I was like, I want to go to that. I didn't know what it was. I had just came from the party. I was like, I'm not going to that shit. Long story short, I went to that shit. And Farrakhan was there, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Viola Plummer, Sonny, like all of the big names in the Black Power movement at that time. And that was my first exposure to that. Prior to that, I was going to parties and just like you said, standing next to somebody and they'll get shot, killed. We were in mass shootings back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just ain't calling mass shootings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I was in more mass shootings before I graduated from high school than most people are today. And I saw the impact of this death and incarceration, because remember, they went to jail for 30, 40, 25 years.
Yeah.
Right? And so that had a traumatic impact on their kids and their family. And so I luckily did not become a crooked cop.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't work out.
Ill plan, though.
I became conscious and I never looked back, And so I was able to help break the cycle
Yeah.
of some of those young people's children, some of my peers' children, not going into that life and doing something different.
Wow.
Black Just son.
Wow.
Black Just is another person
Rest in power.
who everybody raps about. His son, like I saw the emptiness in his son. And so he was really a strong motivation behind us starting Life Camp,
Okay.
right? So prior to that, it was the Code Foundation that I did with Tupac, but I partnered with Ja Rule and some of those guys from the Inc., BJ, and we started Life Camp because we wanted to do something different with those kids. And luckily we were able to do that. And so his one of the he started a yoga program. And of course he was teased and all of that. Yoga's gay, yoga's this, yoga's that. But he did it.
Yoga's gay.
Because remember,
exercising is gay.
nobody did it back then.
Oh, okay.
Nobody did it back then. So once again, the unconsciousness of the hood, right?
Yeah.
And so they ended up training the Kansas City Chiefs. That was the first year they won the Super Bowl, so we take all credit.
That's why Mahomes so limber.
Exactly.
You know what?
And then they, trained across the world, right? They were able to travel across the world, open up their own dream cafe, and do a lot of positiveness, and really expand on their, career of yoga and meditation, and really just redirect a lot of the young people who normally would have just became drug dealers.
Yeah. 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 Man, that voice is Erica Ford. We're talking about Gaming for Peace.
This weekend coming up.
That's this
right?
weekend at York College, April the 6th. Be there. Lola Brooke is supporting this movement. Shamik Moore is. Michael Bridges is. Wayno is. Salute to Wayno. Shiggy is as well. Love Shiggy. Go ahead, Heather.
No, Erica, thank you so much, and shout out to Beans. Big fan always. I never met you before, but
Y'all
man,
never met?
No, I never met him.
Oh my
But
God,
I've just
Beans,
been a
she
fan.
talk about you like y'all best friends.
Yo, when he said Heather B, I was like,
Right.
you see that? I'm like,
Right.
No, it's always been a fan. Thank you. It's
Thank
my
you.
honor.
Likewise.
You, Erica, as well. It's so funny that you're talking about Queens. My husband grew up in Queens, and he grew up in Queensbridge. And it's interesting to me because growing up in Queensbridge, he told me he hated when he moved out of the projects. And I couldn't understand the mentality at all. I was like, wasn't you happy? He's like, nah, we went from Queensbridge to Southside. And you have no idea what that was like. He actually told me it was actually safer in Queensbridge than it was in Southside. And I was like, what was there that was so
That's my
bad?
neighborhood.
His
That you,
village.
and so all of these names that you're naming, I knew through my husband. And, telling me what was like growing up in Southside Jamaican Queens during that time. And a cop got shot by Edward Burns, and it was this whole cop shot. He broke it all down, and it's interesting to me, like, she's only talking about one neighborhood and section, but then there's Queensbridge, then there's this, and this mentality is going just in one borough in New York City, and how do you escape then? If your family is trying to move from the projects and you thinking that you made it, but you move into a house in Southside Jamaica Queens, and it's worse, you going to sleep every night listening to gunshots,
And it's the same in Mississippi, in North
That's
Carolina,
my point. New Jersey,
in Miami,
Philadelphia,
in the
Pennsylvania.
Gardens,
Oakland.
Oakland,
San
everywhere they
Francisco,
have
yeah.
us.
Come on.
Yes.
Everywhere they have us. Every past Martin Luther King
Boulevard.
Boulevard.
Come on.
It's the resources aren't there. They're invisible. It's food, not insecurity. It's food injustice, right? It's miseducation. It's job insecurity. It's, the toxins in the air. You see me gasping for air right now,
Yeah,
right?
I noticed that.
It's because sometimes I have problems breathing, right? Why? Why in America do I have problems breathing? Right? And it ain't COVID, right?
Come
Even
on.
though COVID, like, that's a whole nother conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But the conditions for our people have to change.
Change.
And so one could say moving from the housing development because they were a community, right? They felt protected from
by
each other. They
Yep.
knew each other,
Yep.
right? And so it was easy, it was safe, it was communal. But then when they move someplace else, where they think they're doing better, they're isolated. They have no one to tap into for that, you got my back, right? It's an unknown territory. So psychologically, they feel traumatized, right? And once you're psychologically traumatized, then as we saw the young lady when she was on interview last week with the mayor, and she was talking about the safety in the subway. Once you're psychologically, you're not safe, right? And so that's what is happening around. And so even going back to gaming, that's why kids stay in the house and game.
Safe.
Right? I used to be the one like, get out that house, go play, get out. But really, there's no safety outside, right? And so we got a lot of work to do. There's been a lot of success throughout the United States. We just graduated a class, partnership with Greg and partnership with the University of Chicago, our first cohort, 31 students at the White House, right? Who are learning this work, taking it back to their cities, 21 different cities. And so there's people, like Greg said, the White House and the federal government has put a lot of money in this work. And so it's growing, but there's a lot more to go. Because when you look at a budget of New York City, the police department makes $1 billion. I'm going to just say $1 billion. We make $1 million. If we do it like that, right? And so, and sometimes we're on the front line. We're there. We are taking these guns out these young people. Hey, we're working with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're finding programs. We're finding training, therapeutic services, because this is generational trauma that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to invest for something to really work. You got to test it. You got to prove it, right? And so there's a breakdown of what the government is doing when it comes to the local, but we got to keep going. I'm passing the baton on Sunday, so somebody else is going to keep going.
Okay.
Marvin over there looking at me like, but
you never pass the baton, Erica Ford. You're always going to be involved.
It's a marathon.
Okay, it's a
It's
marathon.
a marathon. My leg is, I ran a good leg.
Yes, you did.
I ran a good leg.
Yeah, yes, you did. I'm going to take one or two calls and then ask one or two more questions. We got Beanie Sigel here. Erica Ford is here as well. I'm going to go with Erica in Los Angeles. Go ahead,
What's up, Erica?
No, this is Eric.
Oh, Eric, my bad. I got the
No problem.
L.A. and the Eric.
Put it together. It's okay. It's Oakland.
Dyslexic, you know.
Oakland education.
All right, my bad. E, what up, E? What's your thoughts?
And first of all, I just want to say good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, sir.
And all right, and I want to, and Eric, I want to let you know, you're not on the radio this morning just because they're trying to fill the spot. Sway in the morning been touching on this subject for a while, trying to find a solution to this matter. And I grew up in Compton. I work in Compton every day. And the issue with the youngsters getting these guns is something that I tried to hit Mike Muse. There was a topic on the show some time back. And I'm just wondering how come people aren't pushing biometrics. And what that is a gun only activates to the owner of the gun through a fingerprint method. And that way, if someone gets a gun that doesn't belong to the owner, the gun won't activate. I just really want people to start pushing that for new gun sales, because I don't know how you keep guns out of the hands of anyone now, especially when you can go print guns with 3D making machines, you know, these ghost guns or whatnot. But just want to get that out there, so hopefully we can try to, attack the gun manufacturers and try to find a way to prevent misuses of weapons.
When you talk gun manufacturers and you talk the NRA, that seemed to be the taboo subject, Erica. Why is that? Why nobody?
Because they got so much money and they funding all of these folks across the United States. And so that's why, plain and simple. They got money, and the people who are dying from the guns don't.
That simple.
That's simple.
Biometric sound like a great idea for those guns that are above board. I hope somebody's listening to that, Eric. We appreciate your call, man. Thank you every time. You're a super citizen.
It's Sway in the morning.
We got an officer on the line who's a gun owner. How you doing, sir?
Hi, this is Dwayne.
Dwayne, where you calling from, D?
I'm calling from San Antonio. How are you guys?
Good
Doing
morning.
Nice to talk to you.
nice to
Morning.
talk to
I'm a
you.
first time caller, by
We
the
got
way.
a first time
First
caller,
time
Billboard. Come
caller.
on, man.
What's goody?
Come on, man.
You guys are off the
See,
chain.
Erica, you got him wanting to call this morning. It's his first time calling. Go ahead. What's your comment, D?
So I'm a retired federal police officer. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, so there were guns all over the place all the time. But I never had a gun in the house. I grew up with my grandmother. She blew her gasket when she found a BB gun in the house. So never had any type of guns when I was growing up. But I went in the military, became an officer. I agree on the gun storage. I think it's an awesome idea to have the biometrics. People should be held accountable. And I carry every single day, everywhere I go. Because my thing is, I'd rather have a gun and not need it than need a gun and not have it. And just one more thing. I went to a gun show recently with a friend of mine to purchase a gun. And guess who was there?
You want us to get
Not us. Not
not
us.
us. Well, you would say
Not
us. You got to be specific. Black folks or
Not black folks. I think out of probably 200 people or more that was at this gun show, maybe 5 of us were of color. And another question is how many black mass shooters have there been?
how many of the mass shootings have been done by
Right,
folks of color?
black, correct.
Maybe we could Google that and look that up and come up with some
So
number.
I know one of them was John Allen Muhammad, right? He was the DC shooter.
From DC.
I don't think there's been many.
Uh-huh.
That's something we should think about also, because some of these kids that are coming out of these households where some of these people are entitled and they feel like their children are entitled, are ending up the ones who don't want to secure their weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Think that it's okay to have a 12 and 13-year-old out shooting and learning the basics of shooting. I understand safety, but then there's another thing saying, okay, we're going to teach you how to use this AR, and we're not going to teach you that you have a basic responsibility of being a gun owner.
What do you comment to that, Erica? Do you?
So when we talk about mass shootings, he's talking about a specific mass shooting.
Yeah.
Because if you were really to look at mass shootings that happen every day in our communities, there's a lot of black kids who are at the helm of those guns, right? And so there's levels to this, and there's levels to what he's saying in terms of how we got to approach it. But when we talk about the psyche and the trauma of folks, and a lot of people don't want to go to mental health, but ain't nobody picking up a gun that's sane and just shooting a bunch of people, right? On no kind of way, right? And so we have to help people heal. There's more guns. That person about biometrics, there's enough guns for everybody in the United States.
Yeah.
Right? There's enough guns out here. And during COVID, there was guns just ending up in communities, right? There was fireworks that just ended up in communities. There was a lot of things. Gun sale was at its highest during COVID. Where did those guns go, right? And so there's a lot of guns in our streets. And so we can't take everybody's gun away. But we have to do something in our communities to change the mindset to want to use that gun to resolve your personal trauma.
Absolutely. Erica, we got Beanie Sigel here too. Beans, I'll be remiss if, first of all, I want to thank you, because the other part of gun violence that people don't talk about is when you were the victim of gun violence, and you were shot multiple times, and it impacted your body tremendously, and I can only imagine how it impacted your psyche. Can you speak to that, like the kind of physical impact being shot had, and even the mental?
I mean, just the top physical part about it is just death.
Yeah.
Not being here. Then you gotta, if you do survive that, is how you survive it. That works on, like Erica said, just psyche too. Like, just not being able to do the same things you used to do. Like with me, breathing different, talking different. Some people walking different. Some people might gotta get things amputated. And just those things not being, your normal self. That's why for me is I had to do this.
Yeah.
I couldn't just, like I said, I just hit 50, like what I'm gonna do for the next 50, continue to be Beanie Sigel the rapper. Gotta do something. And even within my music, I always gave both sides of it. I never just glorified, one side, do this. You know what I mean? And I gave you this the outcome. So which one you want? And I believe like for the people that listen to my music and, might have just clung on one side of the message, now I get a chance to sit back and really explain things to them. Like you don't want to be on this other side. You don't want that. For real. And like Erica said, man, we lack a lot of information, and we got to change what's like she said, the psyche, the mindset of what we think what's cool and what's not cool. We got to stop looking at people who we think is people of power. Everybody that's not in power has power. If that makes sense.
Beanie Sigel. Yeah, man.
I got one question too. To ask Erica and Beanie, because me personally, I just ironically too and tragically, I just lost somebody close to me, through gun violence. 21-year-old young lady, like a few days ago. I gotta go to a funeral next week, literally. With Life Camp and everything that you do, are there initiatives that just help the families, the victims of these? Because I'm seeing firsthand like how the gun violence, not just it destroys both sides, right? Because the shooter is gone too now, and then the person who got shot is also gone. So it's like family shotted with this.
We work very closely with families who, from both sides of the gun. We have a partnership with Carolyn Dixon, she worked at Life Camp after her son was killed over a parking spot, and she eventually started an organization called Where Do We Go From Here?
Right.
And so that is a question that a lot of parents ask at that point, that pivotal point. Sometimes it's just taking them away. Sometimes it's just standing there, being there to listen to them. Sometimes it's helping them through the funeral process. And it's a long journey. It's a long journey because that pain never goes away from those parents, from those brothers and sisters, even the friends, right? Like, people ask why I'm angry a lot. I mean, it started, my father died in the Vietnam War. And then I saw so many people get killed. And I saw the city doing nothing. Like they literally said to me, if you didn't force us to do this, we wouldn't help these people. We wouldn't work with these families because they don't vote. They don't fund our campaigns. There's no reason for us to support these people. And so we started by just helping parents, snatching kids up, doing teen parties, giving them something else to do. We partnered with some ladies in the Hamptons. We would take the families out to the Hamptons. Russell Simmons would do a forgiveness dinner every year for mothers on both sides of the gun, trying to give them a sense of hope, sense of purpose, because a lot of them don't want to live after their kids die.
That's right.
So we become that oxygen mask.
Beans, what was it? I've spoken with people. We had an interview with a young man named JC recently. He owns Dr. Smoke, which is a cannabis company. And somebody went to rob him, shot him point blank with a Glock, right? He died. They had to resuscitate him.
A few times.
Just had this conversation Thursday, I think. And
Yeah.
Wow.
And I asked him, did he forgive the shooter? Because he saw the shooter in court and forgave. And then he said, I saw him in court and I forgave him. And the shooter cried and thanked him. And he said it was important for him, to forgive the person that shot him. How do you feel about that? And the person that shot you, are you able to forgive that? Is that important?
You have to.
Mm.
When you understand, you have to.
Mm.
How can you not forgive if you want forgiveness?
Mm.
Because there's going to be a time where everybody going to need forgiveness.
Mm.
When you cross all the way over, when you ain't here no more, you going to need forgiveness from who can't nobody forgive you.
Yeah.
You going to need that, so you have to.
When you forgive, does it free you in a sense? Does it bring some kind of peace to the situation?
I mean, if you honest in that forgiveness,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm not gonna say that feeling never go away, but it just make you more conscious of certain decisions. It, for me, what it did was it lift the burden off of me from knowing things that I've done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it lift a little bit of that off of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think a lot of, people out there with pent up aggression, like Erica said, we just need a whole reset. We need a reprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a programming. It's a programming to think like that's the result. We look at it every day. Through movies, through videos, we hear it every day. Through music, and there's only those things they get swept under the rug, but it's real. Like, you got to be responsible for things. And people say it every day. They say, within the last 10 years, there's been this thing where people, so-called conscious people say, you could talk certain things, you can manifest certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be careful.
Energy.
You got to be careful.
Yeah.
So forgiveness is definitely a part of it, and I think that's a step in the reprogramming.
The forgiveness.
It got to be.
The empathy. I saw a clip a while back. I don't even know when this was, when people start having a conversation about AI, and you were one of the folks that said, "Hey, man, I would love to use that tool."
Yeah.
And I my spidey senses tell me you've been in the studio. Beans, I could tell when you in the studio. I wake up at night like he just did a verse. You know what I mean? He just did a verse, yo. How has that been going? Have you been able to utilize AI for any music, and how has it been going?
We still getting it right.
Okay.
We still getting it right, but it's coming.
It's coming?
Yeah.
What is it?
Because you got different, with me, you got different beings, like different, some records my tone is, smooth or whatever. Some, you get the aggressiveness. So we feed in the AI.
Mm-hmm.
So it get to learn me. So when I want to push a button and say, all right, I want to sound like Beanie Sigel today.
Mm-hmm.
Or I want to sound like Mac today. I might want to sound like the Broad Street Bully on this one.
Ooh, that's Heather's favorite.
We can do that like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's dope.
Is it fascinating to hear what it plays back though?
Yeah.
I know that's a trip.
Scary too sometimes.
Do you listen to AI Beans and go, "Wow, he dope"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it to me is this, like, I think that's the best thing, that came out, like, for the fans, like, like I get to relive my youthful self.
Yeah.
Through the music, like, far as hearing it,
Mm-hmm.
because the pen's still there.
The pen's still nice. You don't lose the pen. That's like a boxer never loses his punch.
Because it's even some rappers where nothing happened to them physically, and just throughout time their voice changes.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys came out when they was 20 years old, and now they're 50 years old, and the voice evolves. So it's definitely interesting. Sometimes I do get on the computer and I just tap in and just hear what the AI. Because at first I was very anti-AI. I was, thinking about the Terminator and all of this stuff. I was very anti-AI.
But now you can beat the Terminator.
Yeah. No, it's great strides.
But this is an amazing conversation. I didn't know what to anticipate, but Erica, I've been familiar with your work for years, so I want to say salute to you.
Yes.
And then in your next phase, you say you're gonna hand off that baton. It's in your heart, so I'm just in your heart. But we still moving. Gaming for Peace is happening this Saturday at York College. It's the Gaming for Peace NBA 2K tournament. Please show up.
Yeah.
Please come out and support. Right.
Yes.
At what time is it gonna start? Kick off.
It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Be there at
on
9
Saturday.
a.m. Yeah, because gamers get up early for this, and there's some money
They
at
don't go to
stake.
sleep.
Yes.
They stay up
Right.
all night. Yeah.
Okay, and Erica, whenever we're here for you, so if you ever
Yeah.
need this platform, get at us.
And anybody who support our work, follow our work, can also come to our gala Sunday night. We're doing a gala. D Nice is the DJ for the gala, celebrating the years that I've led Life Camp and my passing of the baton.
There you go. Sure. All right. Hey, Beans, you got to come back, man.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Can I come hang out in the studio?
Oh,
Yes, okay, come on, man.
that ain't it. That was a rhetorical
You knew
question
it, right? I
there.
just threw that
Sway,
out there.
Sway's on his intro
Always.
campaign this year. He wants to do intros for
Word?
people's
Yeah,
songs.
bro.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
hey,
do that.
Hey, come on, man.
Let's do that.
Hey, I've been practicing yours,
Let's
too.
do that.
I just did one for Raz, Cass, Fame, RJ Payne, Method Man, Havoc. They got a crew.
Lil Fame.
Fame called Gutter. You remember that? And I'm on there. The streams went up when I got on there, Beans. Let me know I'm here for you, brother. Come
Yes,
on,
sir.
man. What a beautiful day. Shaheem Reid, thank you, man, for all that you do.
Thank you.
All right.
Man.
And y'all can reach out to Beans. Hit him up on his social, right, Beans?
Beanie Sigel SP. You already know what it is.
Okay. And hit up Erica Ford at.
Erica Ford, I love my life.
There you go. All right. Shaheem Reid.
At Shaheem Reid and at Team Shaheem.
Okay. We'll be back tomorrow, man. God willing, man. We're going to end with a Beanie Sigel song. Let's pick one. Heather, what you want to.
Why would not?
You want to do that again?
Of
I was
course.
gonna play Feel It in the Air.
Oh yeah,
Feel It in
that's
the
a,
Air.
yeah. We didn't play that
Heavy
one.
D.
We didn't
Heavy
play that
D.
Rest in
one.
peace to Heavy
Yes.
D.
Heavy
Yes.
D.
Okay. We're going to do that
You're
one,
right.
y'all.
I'll listen to Why Wouldn't I when I get home.
Okay, y'all have a beautiful day. It's still on the right side of positivity. And on that note, we'll be back tomorrow, God willing, and we have nothing left to say.